Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled Magnetic North Pole Split Increasing, Precursor to Cataclysmic Earthquakes. Now, there have been some reports suggesting that the Earth's magnetic North Pole has split into two North Poles. And the image below shows the Earth's magnetic field strength from data collected between January 1st and January 30th, 2014. And it shows two regions of high magnetic field strength in the northern hemisphere, these two here, and one larger region of high magnetic intensity in the southern hemisphere. And we can see that there are two in the northern hemisphere because they are surrounded by lower magnetic intensity regions. You can see the dark red here surrounded by a lighter red and then orange and yellow. And you can see the lighter red goes all the way around. So these are definitely two North Poles. Now, in the South Pole, I don't actually see that because this is actually the two hemispheres of the Earth. So this part will be the back to that, and this goes right to the edge there. So we would just clip on to this side here. It would be at the back of this. So I only see one south magnetic pole. So, and I see two North Poles. And so these ones are over North America, basically Canada and Northern Asia. So this is basically Russia, Northern Russia there. And so this shows that the North Pole is, so it's over Canada. And the South Pole is somewhere between Antarctica and Australia, somewhere here. And if you look carefully, this is the opposite point to that point. So this is supposed to be where the North Pole is, over Canada. So this means that there is an additional North Pole that has formed over Russia. And basically it's not supposed to be there. But we do know that the North Pole was there in 1904. It was over Canada in 1904, and we can see that from this diagram. You can see 1831 there, 1904. That was the position of the North Pole at that time, and since then it's moved to there. We're close to 220 there, so it's moved a long distance, and the shift accelerated between 1904 and 1948. Well, that's when the shift actually started, between 1904 and 1948, and it's moved a long distance. But this means that this position is actually the average position of the North Pole, because now it seems to have split in two. So in Article 553, entitled Accelerating Pole Shift Due to Planet X-Induced Planetary Expansion, I suggested that the shift in the North Pole was due to the Earth expanding as a result of matter creation occurring in its inner layers or core due to the approach of large Planet X system stellar cores which induce such events, just like they induced them in the Sun's core, resulting in CMEs, in other words, coronal mass ejections. If the created matter does not find a way out of the Earth through a volcano, it will cause the Earth to expand. And you may look at Article 562 entitled Planet X Objects Cause the Earth to Expand. With the increasing frequency of volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, which are also due to matter creation events, the Earth has to be undergoing expansion. However, expansion alone cannot explain the splitting of the North Pole, which is obviously supposed to be over Canada, into two poles, with the larger one now being over Russia. It is apparent that the magnetic North Pole shift data only shows the average position of the North Pole, as I said, not the fact that it has split into two. The average position would be somewhere between the two North Poles. The data in Figure 1 is from 2014, 5 years ago. So the continued acceleration of the shift indicates that the splitting is now worse and that either the new pole is strengthening or it is moving further south toward China. Since the Earth's magnetic field is dependent on the Earth's core, with the magnetic field in all other layers aligning with the core's magnetic field, the splitting of the poles would indicate that the splitting has occurred in the core. It is thus likely that the Earth's core has partially split into two parts close to its North Pole region. The core is made of liquid plasma, just like the magma layer above it, as this is the only way that it can create matter. And it is thus possible that for it to change shape, but an extremely strong force would be required. The split cannot be due to the core growing in size, as the core plasma cannot create more of itself, only matter with less energy than itself. Planet X objects, when low in gravitational energy, exert a repulsive gravitational force on the matter in the Earth that has comparable electric potential to their own electric potential. And you may look at Article 566 entitled Planet X Creating Sinkholes and Effects on the Human Body for more details. Thus, an object able to interact with matter in the core could cause it to split through such a repulsive force. Only the largest Planet X objects able to interact with Earth matter would have the same electric potential as the Earth's core, indicating that this is likely to be due to an extremely large object, much larger than the Earth, that would have had to be stationed almost directly over the Earth's North Pole for years now, certainly since at least January 1st, 2014. However, since the North Pole may have started splitting between 1904 and 1948, it may have been there for quite some time before then. And this illustrates what I mean. So the splitting of the two poles at the surface cannot be due to the core growing in size, because the core cannot grow in size because it cannot create more of itself, because there's always energy that goes into matter, into mass, and so there's always energy loss when there's matter creation. So the matter that emerges, the plasma that emerges, cannot have the same energy as the plasma that created it. So this means that the Earth's core cannot be splitting due to it creating more of itself. So it has to be splitting because of an outside force actually splitting it. And so this is illustrated here, how if there is a very large stellar core just above the North Pole, not quite just above, a little bit to the side as I've drawn it, so that it splits the pole region of the core into two parts, a smaller part and a larger part. Now, most of these objects do not stay in position for this long, but it is possible that this particular object has not been able to get close enough to the Earth's atmosphere to start the process of absorbing energy. Since it is this energy absorbing process which causes the electrostatic force attracting them towards the Earth to drop, so that they are repelled away by the gravitational force, it is possible that this object's attraction never decreased, and it thus remained locked onto a point on the Earth and is thus rotating with it. Since the average position of the North Pole continues to accelerate, it is likely that the object effect is increasing and may thus be slowly approaching the Earth. Such an effect on the Earth's core is likely to be extremely destabilizing. These would tend to lead to repeated matter creation events in the region of the splitting poles, increasing levels of magma and causing expansion of the Earth in the region. This magma would almost certainly increase the amount of magma feeding the Yellowstone magma reservoir and may lead to an eventual eruption. It will also lead to earthquakes, which may explain the huge number of earthquakes occurring in Alaska. Very large and cataclysmic earthquakes and volcanic eruptions in the North American region, as well as North Asia, especially northern Russia, where the new North Pole is formed, are likely, as well as the appearance of new volcanoes. In conclusion, the Earth's magnetic North Pole, having split into two poles, is indicative that the Earth's core has experienced a partial splitting, which would result in it becoming unstable and thus going through repeated matter creation events, resulting in expansion of the Earth as well as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The increased shift in the North Pole's average position points to a worsening situation with possible cataclysmic consequences in terms of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions in North America and northern Russia. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.